So I'm starting the recording and we will continue yesterday's remaining thing, right? And let me start the server. Remember that whenever you start the server, don't start in the studio, Visual Studio, right? So create new or open it in the, I'm talking about Linux. If you are in a Linux, just go to the folder and open in terminal, and you can say npm start npm start hyphen hyphen project, and you can name the project data binding, right? Because with the intention of everything should be kept under one repository, I'm creating different projects. So if you ask me one question, why you are creating this different project in a same workspace, why don't you create a separate project each time? Because I want to keep everything in a one page, that's why I'm doing, or in one git repository, that's why I'm doing this thing. I hope it has started. It is getting started just in a moment. And yesterday we were discussing that on the check change, so these are the four check boxes we have, right? And if you check each and every checkbox, you need to increase the progress in another component, inter-component communication. That's what we are trying. Just hold on, it would be getting started. I hope you remember yesterday's code and you have watched the video yesterday. So please subscribe the channel so that you would getting events when I upload any video. So apart from this Angular session, I'm going to upload lot many videos on the different concepts, right? So if you want to get that notification, please subscribe the channel. That is Aniruddha Kudarkar. So I think code has been loaded. Now what we are trying to do, if I click this and this, if four are ticked, 100% would be there. Any three are ticked, 75%. Any two are ticked, 50%, right? If one is ticked, 25%. These are two separate components. These are two different components. Remember that these are two different components, and inter-component communication is the concept that we are learning, but by means of real-time project need. Okay, now consider that we have done with that part, and I have given the homework that you haven't done yesterday, many of the people, of calculating the progress on every tick, right? I have written the code, everything is ready. You just need to write a logic. If one is true, 25%, 2 are true, 50%, 3 are true, 75, 4 are true, 100. That logic you need to put over here somewhere. You can start putting your code over here, and this dot progress is equals to that thing. You just need to do that thing, and it would be working automatically. Okay, fine. So I have written some static hard-coded value to the progress is what, 50. Okay, now component 2 part is done. So if you see, in a component 2, whatever we want to do, that is done, right? In a component 2, whatever we want to do, that is done. Now sending the events from second component, sending the events from the second component to the first component, how to do that? So you have this as one component, and you have this as another component, this as another component. Now you have 4 checkboxes in this component, right? You have 4 checkboxes in this component. If you tick this, this should be getting updated, right? Remember that these two are in a one parent component. Remember that in a one parent component, these two are in one parent component. So what we can do here, we can create one variable in a parent component. If you go here, app component.html, if you go app component dot html over here. See, app component dot html is a parent for this. In these two we have written app component 1, app component 2, and the parent is this app component dot html. So in this case I'll write that this is app component html, app, this is app component, this is our app cmp1, and this is our app cmp2, app cmp1 and app cmp2. Now the concern is that whenever I tick over here inside the component I am getting the event in this function. Sorry, on check change is a function, we have bound with the checkbox change state. Bound with what? Checkbox change state. We have bound that function with checkbox change state, and you are getting events inside the cmp2 component. But what I want to do, the events should go outside this. Means if I check this, it should intimate or the inform app component that some event was occurred over there. Means we need to take that event outside of the component. So this is app component 2. You need to take the particular event outside of the component which is inside the parent component. How to do that? For that we need to use something called as event emitter. What we need to do? Event emitter. Just understand the analogy what we have done. Go to the app component HTML. Can you see change is a built-in event? What I am saying? Change is the built-in event. Change is what? Built-in event. Angular team has written. Now what you want to do? You want to write your own event. Means, see, I am going here and I can say app component, and here I can say progress. This is my own event. Remember that. I want to write this my own event. Progress is my own event, and in the app component you need to assign one function. So you can go here. See carefully, don't do any other stuff. And here you can say on progress. You can name anything, but just for your understanding I am writing that on progress is the function I would like to bind over here. On progress, I want to do something like this. Means, see, inside the app component 1, app cmp2, some events are getting generated. That events you need to take outside by means of this custom or own event or the custom event. I would like to create my own event. If I can create my own HTML element, I should have a capability to create my own event. And how to do that? That by means of something called as event emitter. Remember that what we are trying to achieve. We are trying to achieve this part, creating custom event. So for that, okay, or here you can say name of the event would be profile progress. Profile progress. Name of the event is what? Profile progress. It is saying that P should be smaller. Profile progress, or just say profile. Profile. Just have progress. PROGRESS. Okay, profile progress. Now I'll go here. So this component says that I have my own custom event called as profile progress is of type event emitter. Remember that, event emitter, and that should be from the Angular core package. Can you see? It is coming from which package? Angular core package. Is of type. Presently you just need to pass the number, emit the number. What type of event you are going to emit? You are saying that I am going to emit the numbers. And let me create the object event emitter. Event emitter. So profile progress is of type event emitter, and here you can say new event emitter. And remember that there is a decorator at output, at output. So you are saying that this guy is going out of the element, it is not going inside the element. So what is that? You are sending something out. So just hold on. So you have one event, and this event is going out of the component, and that is nothing but why this is output, at output. This is nothing but what? At output, right? Inside this component you are going to create at output. Well, now see, here we have followed the camel casing, means P is small, and here second word P is capital. In the second word P is capital, and here it says that if you make a P, it gives a linter gives a warning that in HTML you shouldn't have something like this, so you should make a P small. Now see, this variable name and this variable name is different, then you can go here and say profile progress. So you are saying that the event name in HTML is a profile progress. You can bind it with something called as variable profile progress P is capital, because in a TypeScript we need to follow camel casing, and in the HTML we don't need to follow the camel casing. Well, you can follow it here without considering the error. Can you see there is a yellow underline? It is saying that don't do this thing, this is not an optimal way. Not optimal, or you can say this is not a grammatically correct, but you can use it, right? You can use it. So here you can say something like this. So it's good to follow the some conventions. Okay, so here I have component 2 and I have done the profile progress, and as progress is going to be changed, what I'm going to do, this dot profile progress dot emit, this dot profile progress dot emit, and I'm going to pass which value? This dot progress. This value I'm going to pass, this dot progress I'm going to pass. So you are saying that whenever you get the change in the progress, emit the value to the outside component. Okay, now see, here you have written the code. Profile progress is the event, and you have allocated to the on progress, right? So I'll go here and let's write the console.log, and here you can say profile progress called. This is in the app component HTML, remember that, profile progress called. This is in what? Profile progress called. It is inside app component. It is inside app component. Okay, let us see what happens. Let's go here. Let's go here in the console. Can you see I'm taking the code? Can you see app component profile progress called? Means events are getting generated inside the CMP2, and that events are getting transported to the parent component, which is nothing but the outside one, this outside one, and this is a function I will write, and name of this function is what? On progress called. Inside on progress called, on progress called, sorry. If you go here, on progress is the function. You have a sign something like this. The way the click, can you see you have a click event? This is Angular's built-in event, and you have assigned CLK1, and CLK1 you have already written over here. This CLK is mapped with this click. In the same way, profile progress is my own event, and I am going to map that own event with the on progress event over here, right? Likewise, CLK is bound with the click event. On progress is bound with profile progress event, which is a custom event generated by us. Okay, so remember about at output. What's that? At output, taking event data out of the component, and this is the on progress thing. Now what I'm going to do here, I will write and say progress is of type number, and presently it is 0. At the beginning progress is what? 0. But the moment, and this dot progress is equals to 0. And see here the values are getting stored in a dollar event. What is a dollar event? Event metadata. Now whenever app component is going to emit, can you see, whenever app component is going to emit the data, it is going to emit with the progress. Can you see, to the emit, you can call the emit without this also. Can you see, you can call the event without event data. Now you can call the emit with event data. That is nothing but the calculated progress. This is the calculated progress I am passing to the emit function, and this calculated progress will come to what you can say the dollar event, and that you are passing to the app component. And here you can say calc progress is of type number, and here you can say this dot progress is equals to calc progress. See, from one component you pass the data to the parent component. What you have achieved so far from the CMP2, you have taken the data to the parent component. App component is the parent, so your progress is now inside the parent component, and the parent component knows both of these components, app component 1, app component 2. Well, now I am shifting to the component 1. Let me close all these things. Remember that with respect to component 2, what we have done, we have calculated the progress and taken that progress outside of the component 2, and we have stored in one variable called as what you can say the progress inside parent component. Now see, I'll go to this thing. Now question is that how to increase this progress. Presently it is at 25%. I need to make a 75%. What is the styling for this? Can you see, here is a width, so you can convert it to the, you can convert this thing to the Angular, something like this, style dot width dot percent, style dot width dot percent. Here you can say 68%, right? Area value now is also 68, I can say, and here area minimum is this, and here instead of 25% I can say 68%. Now see, that bar should go on increasing. Can you see, 68% is here and something like is here. See, style dot width dot percent, here you have passed a number, here you have passed a number, which means that you can create one variable over here. You can say progress is of type number, and at the beginning it is 0. At the beginning it is what? 0. Well, and I want to bind this progress with one of the variable. So instead of this 68, just remove here and you can write a variable progress. Now see, this also area value now progress. Here we need a progress, and here 68 we have. Here we need to use the interpolation and progress, and in my opinion you will get an error over here. Let us see. Can you see, present progress is 0, that has been allowed, and there is no error over here, progress percent. And if I go here and just I change the value of a variable, say 90%, and just save it, and you will see 90% in effect. Can you see 90% over here? Now if I change the value of a variable from the 90 to the 15, it will go to the 15. See, 15%. You getting that? So you have one variable and you have bound that variable with the style dot width dot progress. So this is written in the documentation of the Bootstrap 4. Remember that, how to increase the progress of the progress bar. You just need to apply style width and the progress. Progress is just a variable which is holding a number, and here also same thing. Okay. Now you have done this job very graciously. Now I'll go to the app component HTML. Now what I want to do, I want to give input. I want to give what? Input to this, and here I can say progress is equals to, I can say progress. Remember that this progress is that variable, this progress is that variable which is available in app component TS. Or just for your understanding, I can change calc progress. Calc progress is 0. And here you can say calc progress is equals to cal progress. This you are assigning, and calc progress, calculated progress is over here. Now whenever you go to the component 1, can you see this is a custom property. Likewise this value is a built-in HTML property. Progress is a custom property to the app component 1. Progress is a custom property to the app component 1. Okay, and to that you are assigning this variable, or you can assign straight number over here, but instead of assigning number we have a proper variable. You can assign variable to this thing. Well, this is the output and this is the input. Remember that, taking something from the element, you are taking something out from the element, and here you are passing something to the element. Here you are passing something what? To the element. So here you can say at, I can say at input, right? And see, as name of the variable, see, name of the variable and the name of the attribute is same, since name of the property and name of the variable is same. You don't need to write something over here like earlier we have done for the output, but you can write here also. Okay, now see, are we getting some effect or what? Nothing is happening. And why nothing is happening? Let me go here. Okay, so in the app component HTML, progress is there, PRO, variable is wrong, progress is there, and the calc progress is a variable like that. Can you see there is nothing? Biodata, profile progress is on progress. So let's go to the logs and see. So we are going inside the app progress. The calc progress is equals to cal progress. Okay, calc progress is equals to cal progress. Here you are passing calc progress is the same variable. Calc prog is the variable. Remember that we have using a wrong variable. Now see, now if I click anywhere, directly 50% it will go. See, why 50%? Because from the CMP2 I am emitting the hard coded value, that is nothing but what the 50% is. Can you see, I am creating the calculation as a 50% and emitting that value over here, and that's why the graph or the progress bar straight away going to the 50%. Whatever I do, it will go to the 50% automatically, and something like that. Well, I have deliberately taken these two components separate. So what we have done, let me show you. And here you have one input, so component 2 will call the function of component parent component. It will assign the value. So this variable is in the parent component. We have named it as the calc progress, and this calc progress variable, this calc progress variable is an input to the another component. So what's happening? App component 2 is passing the event to the app component, parent component. Parent component is storing that event data in one variable, and that variable is passed to the app component 1 over here, input and output. So if you look at this code, everything would be clear. One is output, and whatever output that you are inputting to the app component 1. Inter-component communication. Well, you can do this thing in one component only, right? But if your two components are heavy, lot many code is available over there, it is good to divide your website into the separate components. And if you are dividing your website into the separate components, how do you communicate with each other? This is the first way of making a communication between two components, right? Making a communication between two components. So what I will do, let me push this much code so that you can go here, and data binding, and the concept is custom event, custom properties and events. Custom properties and events. How do you create custom properties and the events? Okay, just go through the code and you can ask me the queries. Hello, I have pushed the code. Please go through the code and you can ask me the queries. Where I am pausing the recording and coming back. Hello, any question? Hello, hello, are you there? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, any question? Vaibhav?
No, sir.
Mayur?
Hello, yes, sir.
Yes, any questions?
Yeah, what is the use of event emitter?
No, please say that again. I didn't get that properly.
What is the use of event emitter?
Okay, so event emitter is that thing which emits the data out of the element. It is for creating custom event, right? It is for creating what? Custom event. So
Okay.
CMP2 add output and the event emitter. Add output, where is that? Yeah, add output is of type event emitter. Event emitter means it is actually used, you can say this is a custom event, this is a custom event, and if you want to take the data, if you want to take the data outside the element, if you want to take the data out of the element, you use event emitter, right? So emit, if you want to emit something outside the particular class, what you are going to use? Event emitter. So you can say this is a custom event. If you want to create your own event, the name of the event, and type of that would be what? Event emitter. Technically it is observable. Just a moment,
Okay.
I show you. I don't know why it is not going to the code, but earlier it was going to the particular code. Event emitter is nothing but what? One class which helps you to emit the data from one component to the another component, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? If you have any other questions, please let me know. And I expect you should create this algorithm over here. Otherwise, I am going to do on the next weekend. But you need to do on your own first. Okay? Fine.
Hello,
Yes. Who is that?
Priyanka.
Yes.
Uh, Sir, can you show flow means how it will work? First, how data is
Okay.
flowing
Got
from
it.
parent child.
First, which HTML would be getting loaded? Index HTML, right?
Sorry, share your screen.
You cannot see my screen.
No.
Now?
Yes.
Okay. So first, this file would be getting loaded, app component.html. Here, two components would be getting initialized. First, index.html. From the index.html, app root. App root is nothing but app component HTML. This is going to be initialized. This is going to be initialized, right? As usual. So there is no flow kind of. But whenever something would be happening inside this component, app component 2, event would be getting generated. But first app component 1, then app component 2, right? Then whenever there would be the events in app component 2, whenever there would be the events in app component 2, right, this function would be getting called on progress, and on progress function is available inside this function, parent component, that is nothing but the app component HTML. First index.html, then your app component. Inside app component template you have written two components, right? Straight away go to the augury. If you want to understand that, go to the augury, inspect, and here you can say augury. Can you see? First app component would be getting loaded, and inside app component you have component 1 HTML and you have component 2 HTML, right? Component 1 HTML, component 2 HTML. So if any event would be happening, can you see here progress we have, and there is a event emitter. This is a state means the variables you have in your components. If you go to the component 1, there is only one state called as progress. If I change here from 56, okay, okay, fine, there is some issue with the augury, not an issue, but you can understand the hierarchy. First app component would be getting loaded, after that component 1, component 2 would be getting loaded, and whenever there is a change in a component 2, it is going to emit the event. It is going to what? Emit the event, and that event would be passed to, see, this is the progress input, and here profile progress is output, right, Priyanka? App component HTML, component 1, component 2, like this. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, any other queries? Hello? 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 Any queries, any questions anyone is having? Okay, fine. So this is a practical example of data binding and creating custom components, custom events, and the custom components. Okay. Now, as a homework, there is a homework. Let me show you the homework. It's getting recorded, so if you want to write, you can write. Otherwise, it's okay. Yeah, this thing. This thing you need to build. If I click on the orders, here orders page would be there. If I click on the products page would be there. So let me tell you what's happening exactly here. So in the homework, so there, sorry, I don't have mouse, that's why drawings are not that good. Okay, so this is your app component, remember that. This is, I'm going to say, app component. This is app component. Inside app component there is one more component, left menu component. This component I am going to call it as left menu component. Okay, and there is a one more component, we can say this, which is nothing but the content component. Content component. So if you see, this is the, you can have, if nav, you can have nav component also, right? At the top there would be what? Nav component. Nav component. Okay, this is the nav component, left menu component, content component, and app component. Inside app component you are doing everything, right? This is the one thing. Now if I click on the orders, here it should load what? Orders component. If I click on the products, here it should load the product. If I click on the customers, it should load the customers. You need to do this thing. Are you getting that? So don't just take a jumbotron over here in between. If I click on the orders, the label should get changed as a orders. If I click on the products, the label should get changed as a product. But don't do anything about the chart and other thing. Just forget about this. So this part would be getting removed completely, and there would be just orders, products, customers, reports, and the integrations right here. This label I need to change, that's it. Means when you click over here, label need to be changed. If you click over here, this need to be changed. If I click on the integrations, this need to be changed. This is what you need to do. Are you getting that? So this is the homework. So nav component, left menu component, content component, okay, and this thing you need to do. Any question you have? Hello? Hello? Did you get the idea what exactly you need to build? Okay, fine. So this is about the homework. Now the next concept would be of directives. I'm going to start with something called as directives. Well, can you please tell me what do you mean by template references? Template references. Yes, yesterday I have covered that. template references, if you go in the component to HTML, can you see there are some hashes? These hash things are called as template references. Can you see here we have accessed the hashes biodata.checked, and if you want to access same hashes into the component, you need to use what? View child. This you need to use, right? Okay, now another thing about this thing, now see we have app component.html and I have app component 1, right? Now see here I will write the paragraph. And let's get something from the Bootstrap, some content I would like to have. Okay, quickly get this thing. Let me copy this and paste it here. Okay, and I'll apply the class alert and alert info. Are you getting that? So we have created alert info and this part. Now if I go to the output, where is that alert? Where this paragraph goes? Where is this paragraph? The quickly and something. This paragraph should be somewhere here. Can anyone tell me what is the reason behind not getting the paragraph in the output? Please tell me. Where is that paragraph? Hello? Yes, where is this paragraph? Where is this paragraph? Please tell me. Parag, Priyanka, Vaibhav, Ajit, Vrunda, Mayur, Parag.
Yes, sir.
Where is the paragraph? Vrunda. Where is the paragraph? Priyanka, both Priyanka. Where does this paragraph goes?
Because we have written that paragraph inside that app component,
Okay.
might be, and we have not declared any hash over there. Means
So we don't
from
need
where it is.
we don't need hash. See, for this div, do you need any hash? This is a normal div, right? And class is attached as column. So same paragraph. If I get this outside, see here, right? And see now, you get the paragraph. But the moment I take it inside, where is the paragraph? This concept is called as, this concept is related to the who owns the content, right? So who is the owner of this content? Who is the owner of this content? Who is the owner of this content? Means you have a HTML, right? App component is there. App component says that this content is a part of app component HTML. I cannot render it. What app component says that this paragraph is a part of app component 1. right? So I cannot render it. It is a responsibility of app component 1 to render this content. But the concern is that app component 1 says that I have my own what we can say content. If you go to the component 1, it says that this is my content, I am going to render this, right? And what is this then? Where should I render this? I don't know. So this content in the technical terms is called as projected content, and this concept is called as content projection. This content is called as what? Projected content. This is not the very personal content of this view. Are you getting that? So this content is coming from what we can say outside world, and we call it as this content is coming from the outside world, and we call it as projected content. What is that? Projected content. And if you want to present the projected content, you need to have something called as ng content. Now see, below you will get that content. Can you see? ng content. So there was an ambiguity for Angular. Angular was saying, shall I show it inside app component, or shall I show it inside component 1? So with this ambiguity, Angular says that I'm not going to show at all. You decide where to show. And that's why Angular says that please tell me explicitly, where should I show the projected content? Projected content is that content which is not a part of view, which is coming outside, from the outside, and this is getting loaded before the own view of the component. So projected content loads first, and then your view gets loaded. Remember that. So first this content gets loaded, because at the time of generation of the view, this line will create the object of app component 1. At that time only this content would be getting loaded, right? And this concept is called as content projection, right? Content projection. And now see, if you want to access, I'll give some hash to this p. I'm going to say hash p, some para, I can say more precisely para, right? Hash para. And I want to access this in the app component 1, hash para in the app component 1. So you can ask me to do something like this: para view child, element ref is of HTML element, right? And you can attach at view child, and name of your hash is para. Name of hash is what? Para. And here you can say, I'll write console.log and this dot para, line number 20. Remember that, line number 19. Now go here and see line number 19. Can you see? Line number 20, console.log para is undefined. Is what? Undefined. See here, this is undefined. Means the things which are in the projected content, the things or the hashes or the template references in the what we can say projected content cannot be accessed by means of view child. Remember that this is not the view for the component 1. What is the view? All these things are going to be get encapsulated together, and it is going to create one object, and that object we call it as the view. I'll show you that object. Console.log, and I can just print I can print just this reference. Okay, now you can go here. Okay, in this way you will not get that. It is giving you the class definition. Just say this. Yeah, can you see? Just go to the component. Inside component there is a para and undefined ng_context, and here you will get everything related to your component is over here. App root is there. Inside app root, your complete HTML you will find over here for that, and it creates object of view. This object you can call it as view, but not exactly. Okay, T node, T view, there is an object of view. Okay, you can consider this object as a view object. This object, see, it has constants. Under that there are many things. Means exactly we cannot understand this like this, and you can see the template. So whole this thing you can say is a view, and this part is not a part of view. Which part? This part. This part, sorry, this part is not a part of view, right? And that's why this hash is null over here. If you see, it is undefined. Why it is undefined? Because that is not part of view, and that's why it is coming as undefined. It is not a part of the view. But the moment I go, instead of a view child, if I make a content child, so a child from the content, projected content, child from the projected content, and see, now you are just a moment, huh? This dot para, line number 19, still undefined. This is still undefined. What is the reason behind this para is undefined? Not exactly. Content child, it's a para. This dot para. Static false now. Yeah, now see, this is a static true, and you get element reference. Now if I make a view child over here, then if I make a view child and static true, then still it is coming undefined. Yeah, see, now if I make a content child, it will work. If I make a content child, it will work. See this thing. Now you will get the paragraph, and here also you will get a paragraph. So intention of mine is that I just want to differentiate this is not a part of view for the app component 1. This is a part of content. This is a part of content for the app component 1, right? Content projection and the view thing. Now what is that static true and static false? Let me show you. Google, and I can say static true and Angular content child static true. So this part, static false and static true. See, this is static false is a default in Angular 9. In Angular 8 you need to set it by default static false. Now see, the static true option was introduced to support creating the embedded views on the fly, right? When you are creating the views dynamically and want to access the template ref, you won't be able to do as in ng after on in it. We'll see what do you mean by this, right? But this line tells you everything. Static true option was introduced to support creating embedded views on the fly, right? So this part is not getting initialized, right, until you make provision that I need to initialize this part. And that's why here you need to make what you can say static true, means initialize the view. So what you are saying specifically, you can initialize the view runtime, that's not an issue, and that's why you need to have. But my concern is that this much part is not part of the view. So I just want to prove one thing. This part is not part of the view, and this part is a part of what? Content. And that's why you need to attach something called as @content child over here. If you make a view child, it will not work, because this is not coming from the view, this is coming from what? Content. Well, if you go to the app component, one over here, and if you make para, now you tell me it is a view or content. Element ref, and here you can say HTML element. So what should I do? @view child or @content child? I am in a app component HTML. I am inside app component HTML, remember that. So for the app component 1, this is a content, but for only app component, this whole HTML is what? Part of the view. And that's why if you want to access it in @para view child, right, and name is para. Now here what I will do, console dot log this dot para, line number 23, remember that, and just go here. Now here also we need to make a static true, initialize the view on the fly. Can you see? Now line number 23 also having a proper reference, line number 19 from the CMP1, and line number 23 from the app component, both are having the proper references, which means that for the app component, now I'll show you here in an app component content child. If I make a content child, let me just import it, you will get, can you say undefined? You will get undefined because there is no content for the app component, right? So this paragraph is a part of view for the app component, and this paragraph is a part of content for the component 1 component, right? And that's why here in the app component you need to make, if you want to access that particular paragraph or particular template reference, you need to make a view child, and if you want to access that inside the particular component, you need to attach content child. View child and what? Content child. This is the theory. You can ask me the questions if you have. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Let me push the code. You can go through it. Data binding. Or this is the part of component view and content child. Now we are good to go for the directives. Right, I have pushed the code. Please check it once. And if you have any queries right now, you can ask me. Well, fine then. We will meet on next weekend. We will meet on next weekend with new topic called as directives. But I expect you to complete all the homeworks. Right? So next topic would be the directives. On the next weekend, I'm going to complete the directives. Make sure that you will be available, and the little concepts that will pop in between. I will cover all those concepts also. But the intention of the next weekend is understanding the directives. Okay? Any questions you have? You can ask me the questions. Otherwise, we can conclude the session. Anyone is having any queries? Hello?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
What is the difference between view child and content child?
Okay.
Please repeat. It.
What did you say? Hello?
Please repeat.
Yes.
What is view child
Yes.
and content child?
Now go here in app component HTML. Go just in the app component HTML and look at this paragraph. You have written inside the, what you can say, as a content of the app component, what you can say, as a content of app component tag. Hello?
Hello, sir. Please share screen.
Oh, sorry.
I can't.
Yeah, sorry. So if you see this thing, this paragraph is a part of whom? This paragraph is a part of app component 1. App component 1 component. Right? App component 1 component. This is a part of that. So app component 1 will say that I'm not going to render it. Right? I'm not going to render it until and unless you are going to give me the ng content. Is that okay? This part, ng content. So whatever content you are going to pass to the component, that would be presented inside what? ng content. That is okay? Agree?
Okay.
Till this.
Here it is ng content, so it is a content child.
Ha. So whatever content you have passed to the component, this much would be placed inside this ng content. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Then there comes something called as hash. Now next thing. So where to present that component, that problem has been solved. Now next thing is that I want to access this template reference inside my component. I want to access my template reference inside my component. Do you agree with this? Likewise, yesterday we have done the check biodata, demographic, educational, and social. Right? We have created the template references, and that template references we have accessed in the component file. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So here you created a paragraph. Here you created a paragraph. Right? Here you created a paragraph. And this paragraph you want to access inside the component. Right? You want to access inside the component file. At that time, instead of using view child, you need to use what? Content child. Because the paragraph is not a part of view. It is a part of what? Content. View is that thing which is get initialized when component gets initialized, when component capsule get initialized. But this content is something different, that is not a part of the view, and that's why you cannot use over here what? View child. Are you getting that? So view child is going to be used to access particular template references inside the view. And for app component, let me delete this thing. This complete thing is a view. For app component HTML, this complete part is what? View. So this is also view, this CMP1 is also view, and this paragraph is also view. And that's why inside an app component you are going to use what? View child. You are accessing something from the view, right? And that is the difference between the view child and content child. View child will give you access to the elements inside of the view, while the content child will give you the access to all that elements which are inside the content, projected content, and not the view.
Okay.
Are you getting that?
Yes.
Okay. So main difference is content child and view child. Content child will point to the projected content, and view child will point to all the view, all the elements inside a view. What do you mean by view? That comes with the component. The things or elements which will come with the component, that is nothing but what the view is. Okay. So
Okay.
if you want to access something from the view, you need to have a view child. If you want to access something from the content, you need to have content child. That is the difference.
Okay.
So you don't need a content child at a much frequent rate, but you will get a view child many times. You need to access something like this, but this is not a recommended strategy. Accessing by means of content child and accessing by means of view child, both the things are not recommended by Angular. But in the severe cases, you need to use it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Any questions? So shall we conclude the call? Hello all. Shall we conclude the call?
Yes.
Priyanka, Ajit, Mayur, Vaibhav.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I'm stopping the recording.